Okay, hey everybody. This Megan and Dana are back here for part 2 of parenting during pandemic, and Gillian is able to join us now too. Gillian is a master's level therapist on our team as well, and we are here to kind of focus now on what kind of activities can you do with your kids. And a major point that we were kind of all talking about as we were deciding, what we want to share is how important connection is during times of trauma, times of stress, anxiety, depression, whatever your kids are experiencing. Connection is really key. And we sometimes get so focused in the adult world of this pandemic and how hard this is and all the potential issues in the future, and we kind of get way ahead of ourselves, but it's all very adult thinking. But we forget to realize that there's been so much change for our kids too, whether they're 3 or 18, and now aren't going to have their high school graduation. So there's been a lot of things, a lot of loss happening for kids, and connection with your kids right now is so important. We want to validate that maybe you feel like your kids have been up your butt all day long and you're going insane. And so there's a place and a time for activities that are more independently focused, and maybe it's giving your kids some Play-Doh and saying, build me the biggest castle you can build. And, it's going to take them 15-20 minutes without you. That's great. Or coloring, or whatever kind of independent activities, right? And we'll talk about a little bit of that. But we really want to focus on some activities that build connection intentionally with your family too. So I don't know, whoever wants to share first, go ahead.
Yeah, I can go. So I have a list of different ideas that involve that connecting time, with your kids. And I want to validate too, as Megan was saying, there might be some moments where you're like, I just want to lock myself in the bathroom and stay there for half an hour or whatever. Like, if you need some time away, take that time, but make sure you're connecting as well. So Play-Doh was on my list, or Lego. So building something together or having them build something, present it to you. Anything that's more rhythmic. So it could be like coloring, making musical instruments out of household items, and, being a band for a little while. Puppets, acting, putting on any sort of show, any performance would also be a way to connect. And I mean, that could even be included with like writing a story, creating a comic strip. Like, there's so many different ideas, really simple things and some really creative things. Then I have one that I just call bubble blow. So basically you're blowing bubbles and you're popping them with different body parts. So you might say, okay, everyone pop bubbles with elbows. So you're sticking up your elbows and you're trying to pop bubbles. And you can do your feet, your knees, whatever. And then the last one I have is a mindfulness hunt. And so everyone can participate, or you can just send the kids out to do this in the home or even outside. And basically we just think about the 5 senses. So we find something that's maybe really cool, so something we can see, something that feels really funny or scratchy or soft or whatever. So focusing on feel. Maybe there's something that sounds really cool. Maybe you can't just go grab it, but maybe you can point it out even if you're outside and say a bird is singing or whatever. But noticing that stuff is what's important. And then of course we have smelling and tasting. So finding something that might taste funny or smells a little weird or whatever, or tastes good. Maybe you're in your kitchen and you find a cookie or a little candy or something. So again, so many different ways to do some of these things, but they're all really interactive and can be really great ways to connect with your kids. So, yeah.
Yeah, I think it's an awesome list. And just some other things that kind of come to mind for me is like even just going for a walk with your kiddos. It would be a great way if you have lots of kiddos. You could be intentional and take a walk in each evening with a different kiddo. So you're getting that one-on-one time with them too. That's just an opportunity to kind of check in with them. You could even do a family walk, just go all out together. there's ways around, staying your social distance from other people if you run into them and stuff like that. But it just might be a good way to get you all out of the house, get you in an environment, and just, again, rhythmic stuff like Megan was talking about. And maybe you bake something together. Maybe you get in the kitchen, bake something for the family, bake their favorite treat. Just something to do together where they feel like they can kind of be in charge, and you're just there to kind of help make sure the house doesn't burn down and, stuff like that. But you're there for that process and just kind of helping them through it. Just be a good way. Something else that we were talking about was the importance of a schedule for your kiddos. No matter what their age, if you think about it, they're coming from a school day that is structured literally every minute of the day. And that's not to put pressure on you to say that you have to have every minute of their day scheduled. More so to just have you look through an eye of compassion that your kiddo is coming from a day that is literally so structured to more of a loosely held, I don't know what we're going to do today. School might be 3 hours on the computer, who knows? You might finish it earlier, it might take you longer. And just how chaotic that could feel for them to go from something that's so structured to so free that it's almost overwhelming. They don't know what to do with all that time. Especially if they're littler, it's going to be more stressful, I think. So something that might be helpful is to just kind of lay out some expectations of what your day should look like, and ask them, hey, would it be helpful if we got more specific? Should we plan out, this is what your morning's going to look like, this is your afternoon, and this is kind of the evening together as a family or just individual time, and allow them to have feedback in it, because this isn't something that either of you have ever had to do before. So it's going to be new for both of you. So why not be a team in it? And then you can kind of put more direction where you see fit. But that's going to be helpful for getting them anticipating their day to day, getting them motivated for each day. They're going to have an idea of, okay, when my feet hit the floor, this is what's expected. This is what I can expect of myself to accomplish today. And again, like we talked before, it's something that isn't necessarily every single day has something to do, because it's okay if they're pretty stressed out and they just need a day off, or they need a good chunk of the day off. On that, you feel that too. We feel that, and we do that, and you work through it as you find that you need it. So just make sure that communication stays open between you two, that you might help them get some sort of schedule set so that they can find a sense of rhythm within the chaos.
Good. As you were kind of talking about rhythm and routine too, I was thinking about going back to like old things that are family favorites that maybe you haven't done for a while. So maybe, maybe every evening for some kind of routine right now is movie night, because why not? That's fun. But maybe we, instead of like watching the newest thing on Netflix, maybe we watch an old movie that we haven't watched for a while, but we used to love. Or maybe we do game night as a family and we play Monopoly like we used to always play, or Uno, or Memory, or whatever kind of, card games you play. And I was even just thinking about how the really basics of self-care are really important for our kiddos too. And, again, validating that you don't have to be super mom to make sure your kids aren't hungry. And I'm not talking like any of you are starving your kids, but, hangry is a real thing, right? And for kids in general, when any basic need isn't met, you're going to get higher attitude, or more stuff is going to come out, or things are going to escalate more quickly, So make sure there's always a little snack out, or maybe it's just a little box in your fridge of stuff that they can go grab as needed. Juice boxes or cheese sticks or apple slices or whatever. And it doesn't have to be some gourmet snack or whatever, but it can just be something that they can grab to take whatever edge off that they might need. Making sure that they have water, and are hydrated, and they're not just drinking juicy juice and soda all day or something. Same with us. We can't drink coffee all day, right? We want to make sure that they are getting enough sleep, right? So especially like teens and stuff, they like to stay up late. really try to help them or encourage them to have some kind of normal sleep routine, and that's going to help during the day. And exercise and movement, of course. You know, your kids don't have to break a sweat every day, but bonus points if they do. I don't know. But just that they're getting outside, ideally, getting some fresh air, getting some movement in. It can just be play. It could be stretching and yoga, whatever it is. But there's really basic things are really not less important just because they're basic. So, yeah, good ideas, guys. Any thoughts or else you want to
I
add?
have something to add. As you were talking, and I think this just fits right along with self-care, is just having some sort of boundary with screen time, because everything now is like, even with what we're doing right now, we're making a video that involves a screen, and so some of the things that our kids or even that we are doing, a screen is a requirement. We have to have our computers, our phones, iPads, all of that stuff, and that's okay. But like you were saying, get outside, go do something that's active. I think that's also really important, so that we're not sitting in front of a screen for, 12 hours or more a day. Our eyes need that break, our brain needs that break. And that's going to help us too to disconnect from all the crazy as well, and connect with what's around us. So.
Good. Yeah, there was a book that you had read. This was like a little while back we were talking about it. Was it Connected Parenting or?
I cannot think of the title right now, but we can always put it down in the description.
Okay. Yeah, we'll try to look that up. And just as a resource, Empowered to Connect is a really great resource for parents. And that would just be something like empoweredtoconnect.com or connectedparenting.com. Yeah, we will see if we can think of some other easy resources for you that don't require now hours and hours of research or something, because that's the last thing you need in your busy day. But things that you might reference, we'll try to put in the show notes here on YouTube. So, all right. Thanks for watching. I hope this is helpful. You guys can always reach out to us with questions, concerns. If your kid is struggling, don't be afraid of reaching out to do telehealth video sessions with us. We have some creative things that we do during sessions to keep the kids focused. Sometimes we do like half the time or half-hour session to, just keep it focused for the kids. Sometimes an hour can feel long on video. But don't be afraid to reach out for help if your kiddo is struggling. Or if you're struggling too. So, all right. Thanks for watching. Bye.